Hi everyone, Tucker here with another video from Wasatch Mountains Fishing. Just wanted to let you know about some of the lures that I like to use and that I've had a lot of success with this year. So, to start off with, one of my personal favorites that I have almost always succeeded with this year and last year is my chartreuse or green paddle bug. So, as you can see, I got it's a green paddle bug with, I believe it's a 1/4 ounce jig head. I like to have a little bit larger hook on it because it allows me to put a little more bait on it. I like to put a lot of bait on my hooks. This is really good for trout, specifically cutthroat, rainbow. But you can catch all sorts of fish jigging this thing just off the bottom or anywhere in the water column. My next lure that I've been having the most luck with this year is a white paddle bug. Same thing, white jig head. You've got 1/4 ounce weight, slightly larger hook, allows you to put a little more bait on it, and just has really great action in the water, really attracts the fish, gets them riled up. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, lures that I have in my arsenal is this atomic teaser right here. So an atomic teaser is basically your squid jig. It's going to be white, and then sometimes they have green ones, different colors, and then they have this little tail that's typically a different color than the squid itself. This, I believe, is a 1/32 ounce jig head inside, and you can see the hook barely pokes out. This is really great if the fish have a real light bite, so they're not hitting real hard, because they don't feel the hook in their mouth. Those larger hooks, if you're noticing that you're putting your line down, you're getting bites, but you're not hooking up with the fish, quite often that means that they're spitting it out before you can set the hook because they can feel the hook in it. So try switching to a smaller hook on your jig if that is happening to you. And I've noticed that when I switch to a smaller hook, like an atomic teaser, if I'm not catching any fish on the larger hooks, I quite often catch more fish on the small hooks. And last but not least, the newcomer to my arsenal. This one I didn't get until this year. It's a tungsten jig head with a white and green grub on it. Now these are actually really good. They have some really good action in the water. They're really small, and so they're really nice for panfish. I've caught a lot of perch using this, white bass, and trout. And the trout is what I mainly go after, and they just go nuts for this thing half the time. And I think it's just because it's so small. It's something that they can just quickly snag as they're going through the water column. Now, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of hook space right here to be able to put some bait on there. Same thing with the atomic teaser. So you're a little limited in that regard about what bait you can put on the hook. But again, like the atomic teaser, if you start getting bites on the larger hooks, you're not catching anything, switch to a smaller hook, and quite often you're going to start hooking up with the fish because they're able to get that hook in their mouths. Now, I'm going to go over some of the bait options I like to use as a combo with those hooks. So, first and foremost, we have night crawlers. These things work great. Now, that being said, they don't work by themselves all the time. Something that I've started doing this year, and I've noticed that it's helped out a lot, is adding a kernel of corn to the hook with the night crawler. Now, I don't know what it is about corn, but fish seem to like it. I'll drop a line down with a worm, and I'll drop a line down with a piece of worm and a piece of corn on it, and 9 times out of 10, I will get bites on the piece with corn, or on the lure with corn, and not on the lure with just a worm. Now, that being said, you can still catch fish with just a worm on your hook, but I find that the corn also helps to attract the fish in. The combo between the two works great. And the last thing that also helps out a lot is smelly jelly, something that adds a little scent. I love using garlic smelly jelly. Just a little drop of this on top of your lure really helps to add some new scent to your hook, and it's going to help you catch a lot more fish. Every time I've put that on my lure, I get a bite. Now, it might not be right after I put it on, but I do get bites. So, like on Wednesday, I went fishing, wasn't getting anything, started putting some of that garlic smelly jelly on with a piece of worm and a piece of corn, started catching fish. So, what you want to do is you take your lure, you slide the worm on, put a piece of corn, one kernel of corn on the top, and then just put a little dot of smelly jelly either on that worm or just somewhere on the lure. Drop it down, go catch some fish. Now, a lot of people like to tie their lure straight onto their fishing line, which is fine. Anyone can do that. I find it more time consuming to do that. So what I like to do is I actually like to attach a swivel, and this is a bad representation of a swivel to put on there. Here's a better one. So I like to attach a swivel to my leader, as you can see right there. And that way, all I have to do is just have a clip swivel on my main line, and then if a lure's not working, or I'm not catching fish, or maybe maybe something breaks off, I'm quickly able to just instead of having to tie a whole new hook on, I can quickly take that swivel or that lure off, put a new lure on, just attach the swivel, clip it, drop it back down, and then I can start messing with that line and putting it away while my lure is still fishing, instead of having to sit there and tie a new hook on for several minutes. So those are just a few tips for you on how to get out there and start ice fishing and hopefully catch some fish. Tight lines, everyone. Best of luck.